Well, I guess it's your mother's fault. You do best to keep my mother's name out your mouth, because deep down you know that you're just insecure, lying trash who, try as she might, will never be no more than what she's always been. Irrelevant. Come through, Charlie, with the shade and the clapback for Francis Boudreaux. Alright, what's up, everybody? This is your girl, Miss Sophia the Diva, and I am here somewhat in a more timely manner than the past couple of weeks to give you my thoughts and views on this week's episode, or this past week's episode of Queen Sugar. Give me sugar! Yes! This episode is titled All the Borders. This is season 4, episode 8. And this was a very intense episode. We got some clarifications on some things. We also see that Nova is having to learn that maybe your friend and former lover and professor, Octavia Laurent, had a point. You need to do some empirical research on things. Stop telling other people's stories that are not your stories to tell when you don't know the whole truth. Bottom line. So when we open up this episode, or rather when we last left off, Charlie had received an urgent call letting her know that the meal was on fire. And baby, when they showed, it looked like when the camera panned, you saw Charlie looking disheveled, Micah like, what is going on? Ra is there, Romero is there, and they all just look like, oh Lord Jesus, what are we gonna do? And along comes Nova. I'm like, she just come out like her family gonna receive her with open arms and hands, because part of the reason why Charlie and all of them are having problems is not only the fact that Charlie is fighting against the town officials and these rich people that are greedy, but it's also because they know their weaknesses now, you know, as far as they know Charlie's story and the scandal, and they know Ralph Angel's story and his son, and I mean, it's just a lot that people can do to leverage and use against you. Okay, so Nova comes running up, everybody looking at her like, didn't nobody ask you to come? And Mike, I called and told her, I got on the plane from Philadelphia, I left my book tour to come. Don't nobody care. You could have stayed on your book tour, Nova. Don't nobody care. Don't nobody want you here. Okay, when Charlie talks to firemen, she learns that there was a delay. There was no 911 dispatch sent. It took them 30 minutes, and they said dispatch didn't even send it. Some citizen called it in to tell them that the meal was on fire. Because Charlie was like, but we have regular fire inspections like we're supposed to all the time. And he basically breaks it down for her and tells her the way that everything is set up, it looks like an accelerant was used, and the way it was scattered all throughout, it's arson. It's just a matter of time before this becomes a police investigation. So then Ralph Angel and Charlie start walking off, and Nova, let's not all be rash right now. Okay, let's just cool our heads and just, you know, let's talk about it. And it's like, let's not be rash. Nova, you of all people have the audacity to even articulate those particular words out of your mouth when you were the one who chose to tell all of your family secrets and violate their privacy. But you talking about let's be rash. Charlie looked at her like, bitch, if you don't get the fuck out of my face, I will fuck your ass up. And that's really what Charlie was looking like. There is no, like, I felt that shit. Okay, I felt it. And she said, you don't get to say us. Okay, there is no we. Okay, she says, you know, basically it's her and Ra now. So it's an us versus a we. So where she ends up going is down to Francis Boudreaux's office. But before we go there, let's talk about Aunt Vi calling in this favor. Okay, Sam Landry darkened the doors of Aunt Vi's diner, and Aunt Vi was standing there fiddling with something. She was like, He was like, "Hi, Vi, so good to see you again." And she was like, I didn't invite you here for pleasantries. We need to talk old times." She was like, "Now, y'all did this shit to my diner. I get it, okay? But have you lost your damn mind? You have crossed the fucking line, okay? Like, this is my niece. She just had the heaven knocked out of her." And I like that. She, instead of hell, she said heaven knocked out of her. And Sam Landry was like, "You know, what's happening is not my style." He said, "My bark is loud, but all I care about is my business and my land." And Vi was like, "It might not be your style, but these are your people." And he was like, "Vi, it's out of my hands." And so she was like, "Oh, it's out of your hands. So, okay, well, I'm calling in that favor right now." And he kind of looked like, oh shit, like, he looked like he had the wind knocked out of his sails when she said she was calling in that favor. So now you kind of realize that, you know, just like in these old southern towns, black and white people have a history of doing things that were outside the lines of their societal norms. And we learned from Francis there's a method to the madness in this. Honestly, I feel like if things had been different, the way it was described to be about my mother's childhood, honestly, I probably would have been a product of a biracial relationship, but due to the size of the small town and the wealth of that family, it just wasn't plausible or likely. But just saying that one of my mom's close friends was my Aunt Betty, who raised us, was the help for that family. She told him, "You better find a way to put them dogs back on the leash that you running with, okay?" And he was like, "I'll try." She said, "No, you gonna do it." You understand? So I'm curious to know how it is that Vi is able to stand there before this very wealthy white man and tell him what he is and is not going to do. So then Charlie and Francis have this really heated confrontation. I really love the dialogue between them. I don't know what the actress's name is that plays Frances Boudreaux, but she did a damn good job playing that old school Southern woman with the pearls and the tweed and all the wealth and all the money. But she tried to cut Charlie down to the quick, but Charlie is younger, faster, and a little wiser and a little more educated, okay, because she ain't been living in a box her whole life. She got out of that small podunk town and got to the big city, which is something you try to leverage against her and try to make it seem like it's bad that she's nouveau rich or whatever. And she's not old established money. Of course she's not old established money. Her family is descended from slaves. We ain't got no money most of the time, or at least not in our ancestry or our lineage, unless we were owned by plantation owners that chose to do the right thing. Our ancestors were owned by those types of plantation owners. So when Charlie comes in there, you know, she leaves Ralph Angel outside, and I guess it was a setup from jump, and she was like, "Who owns you, Francis? Somebody from Old World Energy?" She says, "Nobody owns me. I'm not a slave." And then Francis started talking about this sisterhood, and I was like, "Well, would a sister do another sister like that, really?" And then that's when Charlie went in and was like, "You know, cut the act, Francis, because I see you." And her face turned beet red. Okay, Francis' face turned beet red, right? And so then Francis got all huffy and puffy. "I'm glad somebody burnt down your meal. Somebody need to put you in your place, gal." And I was like, did she just call her gal? Because see, in the South, you will hear gal, okay? Now, my pawpaw, my godfather, he used to always call me gal. "Come here, gal." But he was an old Southern black man from probably Louisiana originally, because the last name is Baptiste. So then, but when white people say, you gotta be very careful about when you hear gal, because that can be just as, that's like spitting in your face, depending on how it's delivered. And so she told Francis, she said, "My place is wherever I decide it's gonna be." Francis, that's when she coming down here infecting St. Joe with your nouveau rich sports money and a tall dress sex scandal. You're nothing more than an upstart mulatto trying to be white. But I guess that's your mother's fault. And that's when Charlie goes into that tirade, basically just tells her she ain't nothing more than an irrelevant piece of trash, is what it is. And Then Frances tells her that the reason why she formed that sisterhood is because, as we all know, Sun Tzu says it's the art of war. Keep your friends closer and your enemies closer. And then she was like, well, did you see a Jacob after me? She's like, no, that's Jacob and his own weak mindedness. They've been trying to dilute the bloodline for years, child, but they always come back home. They always do. Just like Sam and countless others. I was like, God damn. But that's how the South is, y'all. That really is how it is. And she said they never roam far from home. They always come back. And that is why you will never win the battle you are in. Charlie for the clapback. She said, you're outdated, Frances. And Frances' face cracked in. And she was like, and you just too blind and too basic to see it. I feel sorry for you. Almost. Baby Charlie walked up out that office with her head held high. She got in that car and all the wind came out of her. But then Ralph Angel had a gift for her. He was like, I got it all on tape. He got it on tape. The thing about it is, though, y'all, with black women in general, we are black girl magic. We are magical, and there is always an allure to us. Men will deny that they're attracted to us of other races, but they love us. They want us. It's just that they're afraid. Don't be afraid, sexual white chocolate. Step to us sometimes. You never know, we might say yes. Me personally, there was only one white man that could have gotten my heart, and he was in college. I'm not going to say any names, but that's the only one that could have ever gotten my heart. Oh, he was fine. 6'7", curly hair, piercing blue eyes. He was something else, and if it worked out, I definitely would have let him put a ring on, and I would have been barefoot and pregnant as many times as he wants me to be, honey. That's the only one. But I'm not saying I'm not open, you know, like that Calvin that's on this show too. But anyways, I digress. Let's get more back into it. Nova's brave. Okay, first of all, Vi done banned you from her diner once before. Now, just because they done wreck shop and remodel it, don't mean she wants your taint in there. Here she come, and Prosper said, let's sit down and have a talk, okay? And that's when we learned that Nova done set up here and written a whole chapter about her daddy having killed somebody, and he ain't even killed him. He beat up one of the guys that came down to the farm, which is very bold. I'm like, okay, you just gonna show up to the farm. But you know, white people didn't have no type of qualms about anything in those days, okay? And the deep south in Mississippi and Alabama and some parts, and even here in Georgia, they bold. They really think they own this country, and they really think they can do whatever they want to do. But this land is bought with blood, and in some respects it is kind of cursed if you think about all the travesties that are going on. Just saying. Come to find out, the man showed up. Ernest beat the dog shit out of him, and so he took the man to the hospital. The man obviously lived, but they knew better than to ever come back by the Bordelons farm. That's all we know. And so he took off all the bloody clothes. And what saved him was hearing the voice of Nova's mom, Trudy, or True. I think her name was True. And I don't know if she was dead then or what, but either way, that happened, and he buried his pain. He took off the bloody clothes and everything associated with that confrontation, because it was like being in the war he had been in before, and he didn't like it. So, Nova, you might want to get your ass out your aunt's diner, number one. And number two, you might want to have your publishers know that you published a farce or a fable in your book about your father, too. And Mr. Prosper, don't engage with her, because you know a Vi coming in and kick you out, too. Meanwhile, back on the farm, Ralph Angel and Deesha, his girlfriend, lawyer, public defender, warrior, is by his side. And they are working on a way to save his re-entry program, because there has been criminal activity found. The board may shut it down, and then that will affect the grant funding. In addition, because the mill has burned down, that may also have some effects too on him being able to recruit money and keep payroll. But Darla hears about this, and she goes and gets in her ride and rides down there to check on Ralph Angel, because she knows that between them two, it's always going to be them two because they got Blue together, right? But she's like kind of feels out of place when she realizes that Deesha is there, and he was like, this is my lawyer. She a lawyer. She gonna help me with the reentry program. But yeah, everybody fine. You know, she's like, oh, okay, I just want to make sure everybody's okay. So now, you know, moving on in relationships is so hard. But Darla said she wanted him to respect her her moving on. She didn't want to hear about his relationship, and he didn't want to hear about hers. But I guess one of the things she realized is that when she was talking to Will, who is her sponsor, and I guess her new boo, or could have been, she realized we don't have anything in common and he don't get it, and we've been through something. So, you know, it's hard. I get it. But, girl, Deesha sitting there looking like, and I noticed Deesha kind of start touching on Ralph Angel to let her know this is mine now, girl. Okay? I said, ladies, we do that shit. You know we do. Meanwhile, Hollywood is back in town, and you could just see the relief wash over Aunt Vi. And I said, in my tweet, I said, Aunt Vi's peace is back. So, peace in the time of storm. Okay. So, eventually Ralph Angel does end up down to the board. And you could tell that these white people might be bought and sold by the Landry Boudreaux clan. It's like they really don't care. And so he was trying to appeal to this board by letting them know I would never do anything to disrespect my daddy's name. My daddy's name is attached to this program. And they were like, that's all well and good. In addition, Deesha was speaking on behalf of Benny and letting them know that he's always had good conduct since he's been out. But the officer, on the other hand, who led the drug bust, he has like 3 complaints against him for misconduct. But, you know, they're like, that's all well and good, but we know that you can't even meal right now, so payroll is going to be affected, and that's going to affect grant funding. But we have to do our due diligence, and then we'll get back to you. So, I don't know. Are y'all hopeful that Ralph Angel will get to keep this program? I don't know. Meanwhile, Charlie is at Aunt Vi's diner meeting with the black farmers. They get on my nerves. I'm so sick of these turncoats. Every time some shit go down, these Negroes been like, oh, you said you were going to do this, and I just can't afford to be that. I'm just like, you know what? I'm sick of y'all. Just go home. Keep on not supporting your own. Okay? Keep on not supporting your own. And so Ralph Angel said, I'm not too concerned about, the meal right now. I just need to keep my people working. Do y'all need, any farm? Everybody, no. See, I can't have. I just can't. I'm just like, oh my God, I hate y'all so much. I really do. And that's true. That's how it is. Like, what was Charlie supposed to do? It's not her fault that somebody committed arson on her property. She can always rebuild, because I know she had great insurance, but still, this is impeding people's ability to make a living. And that's the whole point, is so that they can build this highway and have this oil and gas company come in to create all these jobs. But y'all gonna end up just like Flint, Michigan, or somebody else. It's gonna, what's her name, Erin Brockovich case, because it's gonna something's gonna happen, and the water supply is gonna get. You don't want to be part of that. That's all I'm saying. Shit, can we ever come together? Then Charlie on the edge of a meltdown because they meet up with Deesha, her and Rod on Violet's house. They get ready to have family dinner. And basically Deesha says, and it's true, it's great that you have a recording, but she didn't outright say that, she was responsible or knew who was responsible for burning down your meal. It's helpful, it's good to have, but I mean, we're going to need an actual witness who can say what they know about this situation. So basically Charlie's on the edge of a breakdown, and she's trying to figure out. She starts spazzing out and damn near goes into a panic attack. Witness, a witness. I need a witness. Just one. I just need one. And I'm just like, girl. And then Aunt Vi was trying to calm down. He's like, your meal burned down less than 24 hours ago. Calm down. Have a seat. Take a break. Okay. Then Nova and Calvin. Baby, did anybody feel any type of sorrow for Nova in these crocodile tears? Save it. Save it, Nova. She's like, oh, you know what, Calvin? I went to check on my family, and I think I've lost my family. They looked at me like I was a stranger. And I was just sitting there watching the TV like, girl, when is you gonna be done? Because, like, none of us care. We ain't got no time for this bullshit. What did you think was gonna happen when you told everybody's secret in your quest for truth and airing out dirty laundry? Y'all should all went on the Yana Van Zant first and did that shit. But Calvin is kind. Now, that's the type of man you want, even when he knows she fucked up and wrong. He was like, you know, you are important, you do matter. And but yeah, you have lost your family. I mean, he didn't say that, but I'm saying that you lost your family. Now, I appreciate Aunt Vi. Aunt Vi prays for her enemies. She prayed for her whole family, and she was grateful. People, whenever times of trouble come up, first of all, we should always be praying. I just feel like Aunt Vi's prayer is an example of how we should pray. Heck, it had me on my knees at night because I've been going through, y'all. That's all I'm going to say. But sometimes that's all you can do is fall on your knees and pray and just trust God and know that it will pass. I had something come up this past week. Now, that was good news. I didn't think it was possible what happened, but it happened, and I'm grateful. And no matter what's going on, be grateful. Always be grateful that you wake up and that you're in your right mind and all of that. So Aunt Vi's prayer meant a lot to me. And I'm glad that she prayed for Nova, because Nova needs prayer. Everybody needs prayer. So Calvin shows up at Nova's house, and Micah comes by to drop off the key. And when Nova introduces Calvin to Micah, Micah's whole countenance changes. He's like, oh, you're the cop. And so he starts getting in Nova's ass about how can you be dating somebody that may have been part of abusing black men and using their badge to abuse and beat up, or he may have seen something and not did anything. Have you ever asked him? And then I was like, how you gonna get buck on somebody and you sit up here and let one of your best so-called best friends take the rap for you, and he's sitting in jail right now and won't even be able to make it to his high school graduation, but you get to. Not only that, let's talk about the fact that Mike about to get some of Miss Sister Kiki. Okay, she's sitting up here, we need to make plans for prom night. I didn't think Sister Kiki was going to come back to militant Micah, but I guess in times of strife, because she was there when the meal was on fire trying to comfort him and his mama. Lord Jesus. Girl, I hope it work out for you and Micah. Y'all might end up together for life. I don't know. But either way, ultimately, Nova does have that conversation with Calvin, and Calvin does concede to the fact that he was a coward. He did not abuse or brutalize black people, but he did see people. But here's the deal, y'all. We've seen it on TV all the time, and you hear about it. If you've got cop friends or family members, you know. Like, they believe in that blue wall. Like, y'all all got to stand together, because if you don't, your partner may not have your back. Your family may be unprotected. And you know, police officers know how to do stuff where they can cover up evidence and plant shit and do whatever. I'm just saying. So I understand it. I hope that Nova doesn't hold that against him, but it happens. Ralph Angel has to tell his workers that some of them may or may not have jobs anymore. Everybody's upset, but I mean, it's out of his hands. I mean, it's unfortunate. And he said he is trying to find other people's jobs, but you know how we are. And I think that sometimes some people feel like someone is pulling their leg, but no, truthfully, the program is in trouble. Meanwhile, Charlie is down to the mill. One of the most powerful scenes I've seen is her digging through the ash and finding Queen Sugar in the ash. And Sam Landry walking in and saying, hello. And so she immediately got defensive, and she was like, he talking about, I didn't do this, sweetie. He said, I'm just from one business owner to the other. I'm just coming to pay my respects. I was like, damn, like we gonna bury Queen Sugar? Baby, it's gonna rise up out the ash like the phoenix, okay? That's what's gonna happen with Queen Sugar. But he did appear remorseful, and I think that him and Vi might have a history. And I think he's going to fix this problem. I really do. I think he's going to do the right thing. He was like, I tried to warn you about my sister. I did. He explained to her that he would never physically harm that family. But I'm like, you did property damage. When you say physically harm, we're talking about bodily harm. somebody could have been in the mill. It could have been a night watchman or something. Somebody could have gotten burned up. But to me, that's just saying that property isn't exempt. So what does that really mean, Sam, at this point? Ralph Angel and Deesha have dinner. She says that he's a great cook, and he asked her, can she stay the night? And I think Deesha had one of the most powerful lines. And I'm going to probably change my board back here. I love these things. I should get another one so I can have one that I interchange. But I really like this Work Like You're Broke for Tyler Perry. But you can't control what's happening, because he said, I don't want to bring shame to my pops. I don't want to disappoint my pops. You're not disappointing him. He sees what you're doing. And Deesha, she told the story about how she was trying to study for the bar, had a baby. Her man left her for 6 months. And that really spoke to me too, because I was like, damn, I know it's not true, but that is somebody's story. I've heard people who have been pregnant and things have happened and they still managed to pass the bar. And I said, I got to get back up on my A game. But either way, she said that you can either let fear drive you or stall you. So let it drive you. So people, let fear drive you. Needless to say, after him and Deesha spent the night together, Darla calling, that felt kind of awkward. I don't know if your new girlfriend, I mean, I get y'all co-parenting, but if it ain't got nothing to do with Blue, why you calling this time of night? And she was like, well, is Blue okay? I want to come over there. I was like, girl, you don't need to come over there. He got company. Ralph Angel got company. He don't need you. Charlie is on her second or third bottle of wine. I don't know. But that girl just looks defeated. And Romero comes over and confronts her. Remember, earlier in the season, there was a conversation about immigrants who died during the hurricane working. But I thought, didn't they get shot or something? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I have to go back. I know I've reviewed this, but that's when Charlie thought she had all the answers, honey. And so Romero confronts her, and I'm just like, first of all, who gave him the news article, or was it published that had happened before on their farm? But he was like, why didn't you say something? And it was basically like a live omission, if you really think about it, because she didn't share that. And so he was really pissed about it. I'm like, why are you pissed? But okay. But he's mad. But I'm like, people change. Charlie's been through a lot that has matured her and opened her eyes to things, how St. Joe is. But I don't know. Y'all think Romero gonna come back? I mean, he is pissed. I mean, I get he ride for his people. I was like, damn, you just got Charlie's cookie. Well, you just trying to get Charlie's cookie and then find something to get mad at her about and then leave? You know, dudes do that shit too. They're terrible. Because y'all remember when Charlie came in, she was a hothead. She coming to town. She had all the answers. She got all this money. She got style. She got grace. She know what she doing in this race. Okay, but either way, I think that's pretty much it. Next week, it looks like Charlie and Darla are in full-fledged meltdown because we see a clip where Micah is like, has anybody seen my mama? And we see Charlie somewhere, probably down to a bar where rich cars be, or a pickup truck or two, and just in full-fledged meltdown. But anyways, comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this episode of Queen Sugar, All the Borders. I don't know. It's like the Bordelons just can't catch a break. But if y'all live in the South, sometimes that's really how it is. You know, if you can stay in your place, but if you try to fight up against them, white people will do you dirty colonizers, and even your own people will sell you out. I'm just saying. But that's all I've got. Be sure to check out my GoFundMe. Be sure to join me this Tuesday for a Diva Disturb on BFAM 109.6 from 9:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. I may or may not have a guest. My friend Tamika is supposed to come and promote her play, When Love Calls, that will be down the 7 stages here in Atlanta. Tickets are $22.45 for a Friday night show that starts at 7, I believe. But either way, I'm going to promote that for her. That's my girl. Even though she don't follow me on Instagram for some reason, but she'll inbox me. No, I love you, Tamika James. But that's all I've got. And as I like to say now, chin up, buttercups. The sun will come out and stay fabulous. Oh. And subscribe while you're here. Got me a cute new little logo. And y'all subscribe while you're here, all right?